Hey, what's up everybody, Retro Gaming Guy here. Today in this video, we are going to dive into Retro Rager's 1TB setup for the Steam Deck. This uses Batocera version 37, so I'm stoked to dive in, see what's on here. Let's get started. Alright, so here we are booting up the Retro Rager 1TB SanDisk microSD card for the Steam Deck. Now, in order to do this, obviously, insert your microSD card down here into the slot. Again, this is a SanDisk 1TB card. And you're going to hold down your power button and your volume down button together. You're going to hear a little chirp on here. Once you hear that sound, let go of the power button, continue to hold down the minus, and you're going to come to this screen right here, which is your boot manager on your Steam Deck. All you have to do from here is just go down and select the 1TB card there. Go ahead and select that with the A button, and it's going to boot right up. So this is Batocera version 37. First time actually diving into Batocera 37 on the Steam Deck, so really excited for this. Alright, so it actually loads up really quickly. I'm going to just bring the volume almost all the way down here, down to 20%. So let's scroll through our different collections here. So let's go over to all games and see what the total count is for games. So right up there at the top, 20,658 total games on this Retro Rager 1TB setup for the Steam Deck. So let's start diving into it. And I like this theme. I saw this actually on their regular PC setup. Same exact one, I think. Definitely a cool theme. Very new. I think it must be for Batocera 37. Not something I'm familiar with from the past. So we have Favorites collection. Looks like there's 4 games already in the Favorites collection, but that is going to be a collection that you mostly set up yourself. So if we go over here now to the right, you can see we're on CPC. So if we go in here, how many titles? 1,880 titles. And if we jump in here, you can see how the layout is within each collection. Text list on the left. In the center, we have a video preview. Down at the bottom of the video preview, we have some information about the title. Below that, a description. And then we have some graphics over here on the right-hand side, which is pretty cool. And that's going to stay consistent for each collection. So every collection is going to populate in differently based on, what collection you're in. And then up here, it also tells you, again, what title we're diving into. So really cool setup here. Definitely like the layout. We're going to back out of CPC. I'm going to actually zoom in just a little bit here so we can see a little bit clearer. Over here we have MAME. How many titles for MAME? 600 games in the MAME collection, so we'll take a look at that one as well. Really nicely put together here, and it does take that still shot and then morph it right into a video preview. So I really like the way that does that. I like that we're not choosing from just solid graphics or just the text list. So we'll continue on. Here we have Final Burn Alpha. How many titles? 2,561. So great titles in there. That one right there is actually probably one of my favorites, in fact. So I'm not going to jump into every single title just in an effort to, keep this short and sweet. We're going to continue on. Atari ST, 261 games. Atari Lynx, 85 games. ColecoVision, 136 games. Amiga, 2,270 games. Commodore 64 with 4,193 games. Massive collection there. CDTV, 15 games. 138 games over here for Amiga CD32. Channel F, we have 26 games. In television, we have 124 games. Windows, we have 129 games. And this is, I've mentioned that recently in videos. I've been seeing this pop up a lot more lately. This is stuff that I'm not as familiar with, but certainly looks like a pretty cool collection. I'll have to spend a little time on this one. We'll back out. Here we have original Xbox. 8 games for original Xbox. Let's see what we have in here. We have Amped 2, Halo 2, Halo, Ninja Gaiden, Scarface, which is one of my favorites. I'm going to jump into this title because this title can be tough to emulate. So I'm interested to see how that actually performs on the Steam Deck. I think I had this on my Steam Deck build I put together a while back. I don't remember if I ever checked it out, though, and tested it. So The Punisher, WWE Raw 2. So this is a pretty decent selection. Obviously, these games take up a lot more space, so I can understand why it's limited to just a handful, but certainly a good selection. I like what I see. Over here, Xbox 360. Now, I heard that Xbox 360 was possible here. Never saw it actually performed on the actual Steam Deck. Within Batocera, anyway. So let's see, what do we have in here? And nothing seems to be scraped. I'm not seeing video previews for this one. That could be just because that's a new addition to Batocera 37. We have Call of Juarez and NBA Jam in here. So I know that there are some limitations with that emulator and Batocera, and through Batocera, I'm sure the Steam Deck as well, when taking that route. So interested to see what the performance is like there. I'll definitely jump into that as well. PC Engine with 252 games. We have CD-ROM here. Over here we have 100 games. Over here with NES we have 1,114 games. So absolutely stacked there. Let's take a look. Definitely like the way that it takes the box art and the still shot and morphs that into a video preview. So we'll back out. Game Boy, the original Game Boy, we have 490 games. Super Nintendo, we have 796 games. Good selection there. Nintendo 64, 177 Nintendo 64 games. Let's take a look at this one. And we're going to go down. Let's check out my favorite titles, see how they populate in. Everything looks good here. I'll probably jump into... Let's do a racing game when we jump into the gameplay demo of this, because I want to see what this performance is like here. I expect it to be pretty good, though. I've played N64 on the Steam Deck before without issues. So 585 games for Game Boy Color. Over here we have Nintendo GameCube, 78 titles for GameCube. And let's take a look at that collection. There's definitely some cool titles in here. Got Capcom versus SNK2. We'll definitely check out some games within this collection as well. Game Boy Advance, should we have over 1,000? Yeah, 1,085. That's typically what we see for Game Boy Advance. Absolutely stacked though. Nintendo DS, 190 DS games. Awesome. Nintendo Wii over here with 10 games. Let's see what games we have. So we have Donkey Kong Country. We have Kirby's Epic Yarn. We have another Kirby game. Link's Crossbow Training, so that's a light gun game there. Awesome game. I'd imagine you probably want to dock this and use it along with the Wii Remote and Mayflash Dolphin Bar. NBA Jam, which I believe is the same as what we just had for 360. I'd probably just play it over there as long as it works. Super Mario Galaxy, Legend of Zelda down there. Some pretty great titles here. Wii U, which I've gotten into a lot recently. Really enjoy the Wii U titles. So let's take a look at Wii U. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 titles here. Mario Kart 8. Definitely want to see how that performs. We'll jump into that on the gameplay demo. But yeah, I also love the Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Awesome game there. So backing out here. Over here we have 13 games. Over here we have... What's that? I got the music over the top of it. Looks like 100 games for Open Bore. Definitely some cool titles in here too. I highly recommend you check out Open Bore. We have ports over here. 33 games in ports. So some Doom stuff here. Cave Story. We have Cody Media Center in here. Alright, so pretty cool stuff. Super Mario 64 in ports. Cool stuff in there. Pie Game, which is typical for any Batocera sort of setup. A Thomas Way with 30 games. We have Sega Master System over here with how many games? 554 games. 783 games for Mega Drive. Game Gear, we have 281 games. Model 2, we have 32 games. Sega Saturn, we have 306 games. That's a massive collection for Sega Saturn. Take a look in there. Love 3D Baseball. It's one of my favorite titles. Not one of the most mainstream titles by any means, but always enjoyed that game. 3D Lemmings. Lots of good stuff in here. Do we have Die Hard Arcade? Because that is my favorite title for Sega Saturn. We do we? Yes. We have Die Hard Arcade and Trilogy here, so that's awesome. For me, anyways. Here we have Sega Model 3, 62 games there. Dreamcast, we have 101 games for Dreamcast. And that takes me back right there with that title. I want to play that now. I forget what that is. It's the like Hydro Thunder equivalent for like Monster Truck Racing. Continuing on, we have Sega Naomi here with 75 games. We have Neo Geo with 142 games. We have Neo Geo CD, 29 games. Neo Geo Pocket, 9 games. Neo Geo Pocket Color, 47 games. PlayStation 1, 618 PlayStation games. That is stacked. Tons of games there. Let's take a look. Alright, so I like the way that populates in. We get the cover art and a screenshot. Logo in the corner morphs into the video. Crash Bandicoot over here. Alright, we'll back out. PS2. How many PS2 titles? 48 PS2 titles. That's way more than I was expecting on here. So we got some Crash titles, Def Jam titles, God of War, Hitman, Grand Theft Auto, Max Payne, some NBA, NHL, Ratchet and Clank, Tekken, Soul Calibur, wrestling games at the bottom, Mortal Kombat. Yeah, awesome titles. Good selection here for PS2. I'm happy with it. PSP, how many? Oops, I didn't see the count. 30 PSP games. And I always play Ridge Racer on here. It's one of my favorites. Or Ridge Racer 2. Both of those are good. Tekken 6, of course. Tekken Dark Resurrection's good. Oh, Indiana Jones. Never played that on PSP. Good game, though. Just never played it on PSP. So it looks like a good selection. We'll go down a little bit further. What else we have? Virtual Tennis down there. WWE All-Stars. Pretty sweet. All right. LCD games here. 52 of those. Not my favorite collection by any means, but cool to have. And there we are, back to our all games list. And again, final count here, 20,658 games in total on the 1 terabyte micro SD card here for the Steam Deck. Love the selection here. Really a cool setup. Alright guys, very pleasantly surprised by what we have here from Retro Rager. This 1TB setup using Batocera 37 for the Steam Deck is absolutely amazing. The performance on here is phenomenal. I jumped into about 65 titles on here. I obviously didn't show all of those here in this video, just in an effort to keep this as short and sweet as possible, but did not experience any issues with any of the games I dove into. Just an absolutely amazing experience across the board. And what I love about Batocera version 37 on Steam Deck versus older versions of Batocera is the fact that there are a lot more settings adjustments that you can do within emulators. So let's take Xbox for example. There's a lot more offerings within there that you can change to better your experience than there used to be. And I jumped into actually Scarface in this demo because that's a title that I've experienced a lot of issues with on past versions of Batocera, just because with past versions you had different versions of that emulator. It's the same emulator, but there were just less adjustments that you could make. And I think overall the performance has just improved considerably over the last couple of years. So great experience there. You saw Scarface on here. It's a intense game, to say the least, both with language and violence, but it is what it is there. The performance of the game was great. There was no lags, delays, audio cutouts, or screen tearing, anything like that. And those are all issues I experienced with this, even on my gaming PC, using Batocera just about a year and a half ago. So lots of improvements have been made. So I'm happy to say that this version 37 is very stable and very efficient for performance of retro video games, not just for Xbox, but across the board. So really a great selection as well here. You can see exactly what the count is for each of the collections included on this card. I think it's a great option for somebody that just wants to get a card and have it plug and play ready to go. You saw the only thing that you have to do is just change your boot manager, or not even change it, just select the card to actually boot into. And you just do that by obviously inserting the micro SD card into your Steam Deck, holding down your power button and your volume down button. Once you hear that little sound, that little beep that your Steam Deck makes, lay off of the power button, hold the volume down for like 2-3 seconds, and you can actually see all the different options that you can boot into. So it'll say like Steam OS, and then at the bottom, your last option should be your micro SD card. Select that. Once it loads in, a couple seconds later, you're off and ready to go. You don't have to do anything beyond that. Now for me, I just forced the aspect ratio to 16:9. Some of these games and emulators are going to automatically force 4:3 aspect ratio, which would be the original resolution for a lot of these titles. So like N64 is going to populate in with 4:3 aspect ratio with bezels on the side. So for the demo that I did here, all I did was I just simply went in, forced it to 16:9 aspect ratio, and removed the bezels. It's literally a couple clicks on your A button. Very easy to do. Takes almost no time at all. So that's really all I did. Nothing that actually alters the performance, just alters the experience. So awesome setup here. Thumbs up to Retro Rager for this amazing setup. Tons of games, over 20,000 games in fact. So if you're looking for an easy way to jump into retro gaming on your Steam Deck without the headaches and massive amount of time it takes to set something like this up, then definitely check out Retro Rager. I'll put a link up here at the top of your screen, as well as in the description of this video. Let me know what you guys thought of this setup though for the Steam Deck using Batocera 37. Did you like it? Did you not like it? How come? Let me know. So that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please give me a thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube. And of course, hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.